What it do? What it do? This is Jalen Prince. Welcome to episode 138 in Two News with Sports News. I am your host, as I did my introduction. My co-host Garrett is not here. He's on vacation. Garrett, miss you. Can't wait to see you. Hopefully you and Naomi are safe on your vacation. Well deserved because you done been through a lot. But with Garrett being out, I called in a very familiar face and a really good sports head friend of mine in Jason Williams, former sports anchor in one of the news stations in Mississippi. What it do, JD?
What's up, man? Doing all right?
All good, all good. We got a lot to talk about today. NBA Finals just began. Knicks took game one, won by 10. It was a very entertaining game. Besides the fact a dumb butt fan want to run on the court and take a selfie. But we'll get into that a little bit later on. As usual, please follow us on all our social media on Twitter/X. It is at TDSN Pod. TikTok is TDSN underscore online underscore pod. We stream on Facebook and we stream on our YouTube. Please go follow our YouTube page as in right now. Let's get into it. The NBA Finals has
hmm
begun.
Yep.
Um, and overall, I was very impressed with just how game one went, and I wasn't surprised at how things went. Some of my takeaways from that game was how well the Knicks was able to come off of like weeks long of rest and immediately punch the Spurs in the face. Cat he was outstanding in the second game in the second I think yeah in the third quarter he was able to get a lot of things that he wanted both on the floor and Mitchell Robinson. I mean, no, there was no, if you truly pay attention to a guy like Mitchell Robinson and how he plays his game, it's like he's not a shooter. So, and he's already a bad free throw shooter as well. But he's used for offensive rebounds, he's used for defensive rebounds, that defensive presence and that size. So, like even with the hand injury, he was still effective, and he did exactly what I thought they was going to do. So, you got to credit the Knicks. As much as I'm not a big Knicks fan, you still got to give credit to what credit is due. And the Knicks, they showed up and they showed out. And the Spurs, shoot, they're gonna be playing for a pivotal game one come tomorrow night.
Yep. Series chestnut checkers. So we'll see how the Spurs respond. They responded well in their last series, obviously, all the way through and found a way to beat the defending champs. I thought Jalen Brunson closed the game strongly, getting 13 of his 30 points in the fourth quarter. Star players close games late, especially in big games, the final series. So Jalen Brunson did that in game one. I think Cat is obviously the biggest impact so far in that game. Well, offensively and defensively, I think he was the biggest impact. Let's see who else. Josh Hart only had 3 points, but he had 15 rebounds. When you watch Josh Hart rebound, I don't know if what's the word I'm looking for. Aggressive rebounder, I think is what I'm looking for here, and you could see that with how he rebounded in the game and going after 15 of them with the size that the Spurs have. Got to give credit there. Who else? Who else had a good game? Dang, what's his name? Champini for the Spurs was shooting lights out, especially in that first half from three. I thought he was amazing shooting the ball deep for the Spurs. Who else? Who else? Who else had a good night?
Dylan Harper.
Dylan Harper. Dylan, how much did Harper play late in the
He
game?
okay, so not much late, and that was a big takeaway of that game, and I actually wanted to go into that. So let me share this. I'm trying to think. Give me a Yeah, so like you look at the stats of the game. Um, he played a total of 27 minutes. He was 6 of 10, and even though the plus and minus is very kind of tricky, I still don't understand that whole spectrum. But he was a -5. But you saw like even in the game with your eyes, like he was very comfortable and he was able to handle the moments. Like didn't have a ton of he didn't even have a ton of turnovers in the game. Like scratch that. Yeah, he only had one turnover. But look look at the guy above him, De'Aaron Fox. He did not play a really good game last night. 37 minutes. He was 3 for 13, 0 for 4 from the 3 point line and you got to knock down your shots. He didn't score like he only had 7 points. Like, bro, 37 minutes and 7 points. You can't do that because Wemby need is going to need that help, and he was getting a little bit of production. Well, he got a lot of production from both Chan Penny and Castle, but Vassell and Fox got to play better. But I'm gonna be honest with you, and again, this goes back in the conversation. I would have left Dylan Harper in the game a lot longer in this game, like in game one, simply because you got to play to the flow of the game. And I felt like Mike Brown really did a good job as far as like how the game was going and how he was able to coach it. Because even though Josh Hart played outstanding and he had a plus and minus of 22, he did not play. I don't think he played any in the fourth quarter, and he kept like Landry Shamet and Miles McBride in the rotation in the fourth quarter, and that played a big difference. So you got to credit Mike Brown, but like you're the Spurs, Mitch Johnson, you really got to coach within the flow of the finals because the ultimate goal is to win an NBA championship, and you got to think business first. Whether Dylan Harper's a rookie and De'Aaron Fox is a vet, you got to focus on just the wins, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, super important. I think something that was I enjoyed watching that I'm not going to talk about the Thunder series with the Spurs, but something that I enjoyed watching from this Knicks team last night was even though they were fully aware that Wembanyama's there, a lot of the time that they would go in and attack at him anyways. It felt like, and it felt like sometimes that didn't happen in the last series with the Spurs versus Thunder. Sometimes the Thunder would run in and then immediately run out. But I think this Knicks team attacked more, especially in last night's game, and didn't
But
care if it
definitely,
was going to be blocked for the most part.
well, they did it smart because obviously we haven't even mentioned Jalen Brunson, and he was sensational in the second half. And you got to think with both a guy like him being able to attack the basket at will and just like being able to score at will. I think his free throw numbers, like I don't even think he had a ton from the free throw line. Looking at the stats, yeah, he went to the line 4 times. He was obviously 4 for 4, but that second half, dog, that fourth quarter, it was just like
Gotta
outstanding.
have
Like you got to have it. But the biggest thing was like how they were able to get to the basket. Wimby was jogging. He was still able to get he was still able to get blocks, mind you, because that's just Wimby. That's what he's gonna do. But you can tell the Knicks was wearing him down to a certain degree. Yeah, Wimby had he had 3 blocks, but he had 6 turnovers. That's another key stat. But it felt like the Knicks played a physical brand of basketball to the point where once they moved the guy, they both played a physical brand and a smart brand of basketball. Because even when they were able to bully a Wimby to a certain degree to be able to get to the rim and finish, they were also smart enough to be able to space him out to get him out of the paint and enough and know that he was not quick enough to be able to cut them off to defend that rim. That was one. And the other factor you got to take account of is there was a play where Mitch Robinson basically sealed Wimby from going to block a shot when Jalen Brunson came into the paint. And those are like those little things in basketball you really just got to pay attention to. So like the Knicks have played. I felt like the Knicks had a really good game plan, and the moment was not too big for them.
Oh, definitely not. This is an older group too. So what? OG didn't get to play in the series that the Raptors won the championship, but he's an
No.
older guy. Brunson's been in the league for a while. Cat's been in the league what, a decade now?
Yeah.
It's been around a decade.
Let's see. Yeah, it's been a decade because I think he got drafted in 16.
Okay. Point being, these guys are an older group, and they just missed going to the finals last year. So they're on a mission. They know what they want. It's a fun team. I understand you're not a Knicks fan, but that has to do with the outside of the Knicks and not the actual team. If am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, you're correct in saying that. Another factor to that is just like I just want to see a good series. Basketball wise, I like literally that's it. I want to see a good series. I want to see a competition. Basically, there's going to be a lot of storylines within this series in general because you see where the league is going. Um, yeah, you see where the league is going as far as with Wimby taking over the league, but at the same time, it's like you're Jalen Brunson. You're around like 6'3" or below, and you're still basically trying to hold on hope for guys that are not built like Wimby or not made like Wimby to impact and win basketball games at the elite level. Because I've said this repeatedly, Wimby's gonna get a lot of 7 footers paid because you got to build, or you got to be able to build your team to be able to like either stop Wimby, or contain Wimby, or at least match up with Wimby. And it's gonna like put a lot of guys that are like 6'11" and below, or 6'11" or below, probably out of the whole center game business. And where does that lead to? Where does that lead to? The little guys. So there's a lot of things to look at when it comes to the series. But the other thing I'll add, and we got to move on. This offseason, no matter what happens, Wimby has got to hit the weight room. He's got to get bigger, and he has to, because dog, you're still 7'4", and I think, I'm not sure who said it. I think I'm gonna say either Kendrick Perkins said it, where Wimby is a 7 foot big with guard like skills, but he thinks more guard first than he does an actual big. And if I'm him, I'm focusing on trying to get some weight, because what happened with the Thunder series, even though you did win, they were able to beat you up, and he's got to get ready for a season on like a long 82 game season where he's gonna get bullied. He's gonna get physical. He's gonna get like beat up, and he's got to be able to take it and deliver it at the same time. As well as this could like the Thunder could possibly be his Pistons to his Jordan, where, well, not, well, maybe not even like the Thunder, but both the Thunder and the Knicks could possibly be his Pistons to into his Jordan. Because remember back in shoot, the Last Dance, where when Jordan didn't really do a lot of the weight room until he went up against the Bad Boy Pistons.
Yeah.
So like that's why I said I think this offseason is going to be very important for Wemby to be able to do that, because he got to put on some more weight. I mean, he's seven. Like, yeah, he might play like a guard, but he's still seven. He's still 7'4".
Yeah.
So anyway, game two is gonna be tomorrow night. I think it's 8:30 Eastern time. So looking forward to it. But let's move on to our next topic, because obviously, as much as folks are talking about the NBA, NFL rules this country with an iron fist, and there were a lot of trades that took place. One of them being this
The,
one.
the biggest trade that was a secret that they were able to pull off
Yeah.
that nobody knew about.
So for those that know and the ones that don't, um, Myles Garrett has been traded to the Los Angeles Rams. Um, according to Adam Schefter, the trade involved with the Cleveland Browns. The Browns will receive former first round pick Jarrett Verse, a 2027 first round pick, a 2028 second round pick, and a third pick for the 2029 NFL draft. And the Rams will receive Myles Garrett. Obviously, we know how Les Snead works. It's basically F them picks because we need to win right now, and I get it. I have my other feelings as far as how this trade kind of went down. But what was your reaction to Garrett going to the getting sent to the Rams?
At first, I didn't even realize Jared Verse was involved in the trade. I thought the Browns just got a bunch of picks back, but I love it. I'm not a Rams fan, but I love the thought process of win now teams being aggressive about making win now decisions. And that's what the Rams did by adding the best player in football. That is an extremely aggressive move that they are somehow able to afford. And yeah, I love, for the NFC, for the NFL, it's like, wow, this really good team just got better. And the Browns just, I wouldn't say let it happen. They're trying to make a future move by doing this. So I kind of see what the Browns are doing, but on the Ram side of things, completely understand it. And I support it. I support teams in win now mode, making aggressive moves to essentially raise the floor of how good the team can be. So that was my initial thoughts. Initial thoughts was, wow, I can't believe that happened. And then it just makes sense to try and make that move right there,
My thing
especially
is
along with a good defensive line too. That defensive line is pretty solid in and of itself, and then they add Garrett to it. Just boom. Okay, go ahead. My bad.
okay. So my thing with that is again, I'll focus on the trade itself, then I'll get into my whole feeling as far as a Seahawks fan, relations towards like the Rams and what this pick means. First with the trade itself. This is vintage Les Snead. This is vintage Rams. Like they're going to get those top notch guys, but it also shows like how much they truly are putting a lot of effort into making sure that this is the year they go to the Super Bowl. Because it's no big secret. The Super Bowl is going to be in SoFi. It's going to be in LA this year. The Super Bowl is also going to be with ESPN this year. It's going to be broadcasted by them on ABC and ESPN. And this is most likely you probably got, let's just say maybe one more or two more years with Matthew Stafford as a quarterback. Now you drafted Ty Simpson, but like but that's a story in of it, and that's a story for another time.
I'm gonna
With that
Google
amount,
the extension. I'm
with
sorry.
that amount, huh?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I'm googling. Stafford just got an extension, but I'm gonna look up what year that is through. But keep going.
Miles Miles Garrett, what he will bring, obviously coming off a historic sack record season, is going to bring that explosive pass rushing that you need as a game record. What does this mean for Garrett? He's going to a team that's going to be successful, and he's going to a team where the spotlight is going to be on him, because we know as football fans how great Miles Garrett is. We know this, but
Hmm.
he never truly had a stage or platform where he could show his greatness. He's going to have that this year. The Rams lead the NFL in primetime games, so he's going to have plenty of opportunities to show his greatness. Um, so good for him. He got his money by the Browns, and that's great. And the fact that he's able to get his contract and move over to LA, even though he's a Texas kid, that's still like a pretty decent move to me. But here's the problem I got. I look at the Rams the same way I look at the Lakers and the Dodgers. You don't draft great players, but you take great players. Simply put, let's look at the Lakers. You didn't draft Kobe Bryant. You took him from Charlotte. You didn't draft Shaq. You took him from Orlando. You didn't draft Kareem. You took him from Milwaukee. Dodgers. You didn't draft Shohei. You took him from the other squad. You didn't draft Mookie. You took him from Boston. You did draft Cody Bellinger. Give you credit on that one. And then like you look at the Rams, you drafted AD. That's one Hall of Famer. Now the Lakers did draft Magic Johnson. That's another Hall of Famer. I think on your hand you could count maybe about two, maybe three Hall of Famers, legitimate certified Mount Rushmore type level talent Hall of Famers that the LA market has drafted, not taken. My issue is, and this is me coming from a kid from Southeast Georgia that is a part of a blue collar community. They don't really work for or create their own type of success. They take from others, mainly because they feel like they can. Slight entitlement, and just by location, it's made for like I get it. It's LA. It's glitz and glamour. I understand it. If you got it, you got it. Credit to you. But with the Rams, it's like you didn't draft Jalen Ramsey. You took him from Jacksonville. You didn't draft Matthew Stafford. You took him. You took him from Detroit. And the thing about it, the last quarterback that you did draft, you felt like he wasn't it. Say like, nah. We tried this whole creation thing. Let's go ahead and get somebody that's already established. And again, they could do it. They could do it. It worked out. But at the same time, it's like this is just another one of those vintage LA sports, professional sports teams type ritual. And like, so I wasn't surprised.
I am going to push back some,
All right.
just a little bit. Now, I understand that you're saying that they are quote unquote taking these players from other teams, but hear me out here. There's there's what, about two teams per sport in LA. Football, you have the Chargers and the Rams.
Yep.
Basketball, you have the Lakers and the Clippers.
Yep.
And baseball, you have the Dodgers and the Angels, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So I don't want to say it's just they're taking them, but I do think it's fair to credit the Dodgers, Lakers, and Rams. I think it's fair to credit them that they have done a good job in building the organization into consistent, winnable organizations that players would want to come and play for.
I don't even think it's an organization. I think it's a lifestyle.
Let me keep going.
All right.
They build great organizations that players want to come play for. Am I wrong in saying that?
To a degree.
Because they, for the most part, the Dodgers, Lakers, Rams, consistent winners since the Rams have been in LA.
I agree.
So that is a part of the attraction. Like LA, don't get me wrong, there is a LA effect to this all, but winning is also an effect. Players want, star athletes want to go play for winners.
That's true. But when you're in LA, they have to win. You have to win. You come to LA, you have to win.
Do they? Because the Clippers don't win.
True, and rarely anybody shows up.
Players that go to the Clippers, stars that go to the Clippers, they haven't been winning.
That's true.
Stars they go to the Chargers haven't really made a huge trade since they've been there. Dude, that might be part of, hey, the Chargers haven't been a long time consistent winner of success, a consistent shower of success. No one's begging to go to the Chargers. Some players might want to go to the Rams though. And then, at some point, sometimes, players who are elite level talents that do well by their the organization that they've been a part of, especially if it's a poorly ran organization. Sometimes organizations will do right by those players and send them to actual organizations that do well, like the Browns just did with Myles Garrett. Am I wrong in saying that?
No, you're not. You're not wrong.
So you gotta assume here at some point that the players do have, the elite star talents have a say in where they want to get traded to. Dame had a say in where he wanted to go.
That's true.
I'm gonna assume that Myles had a say in where he wanted to go.
Well, he had to because he had a no trade clause in his contract.
Exactly. Stafford, when he got traded to the Rams, he'd been stuck in Detroit for all those years.
Nobody can question the Stafford trade. Nobody questioned that, not even me.
Okay, so I know you're you come from blue collar community, so it's coming off as, oh, these guys don't really work for it, but in a sense, they kind of have. The organizations, they've built themselves into successes that stars want to go play for. You can't fault them for that. It's not the work that you want to see through a draft process, maybe, but at the end of the day, it is work still that they have put in to attract the stars themselves.
So
just a little pushback to.
I respect that. But here's my response. Here's my response to that. It's not much they haven't worked. It's that you got the ones that work to keep success, and you got the ones to buy success. They try to buy it. Now, obviously, we're in the NFL, and you have owners, you have general managers. You have to put money in to be able to get these players. I get all of that. But then you got the ones that are like invest their money and actually put in the work to develop some of these players. Rather than you got some that like want to go ahead and draft or like get a guy that's already a finished product. They're a lot. I would say the Rams kind of like equate to a lot of folks in society how much society is a microwave type of society. But the difference is they got the money to be able to go do it, and they had the resources to go do it. I'm not knocking them on that. The problem that I have with is just like most is, again, it's a pet peeve of mine because you're basically not really you're doing entitled stuff. It's an entitlement to me, and
Okay.
It's an entitlement, and I get it. Like now, to go along with the other point that we had, as far as saying like when you're in LA, you have to win. You have to because there's so many other things in LA to do, rather than just like sit there and watch just on any old team. They got too many options right now. You look at like and you mentioned the Chargers, they're not successful, so they're not that successful. So not a lot of people are going to follow compared to the Rams. Same thing go with the Clippers, and the same thing go with the Angels. Even though the Angels have had Mike Trout for so long, but they don't really win. But they don't win. Like LA loves winners. That's the bottom line. But and so like they're gonna do like all those teams that have won in LA, they're gonna do everything in their power to make sure that they're gonna win because it's all about winning. So and this was a winning move by the Rams to a certain degree. Now here was my reaction. My initial thought, and y'all could go check out my social media on this about it. I was not moved.
Oh, this is your Seahawks fans
Yes, this is
thought
my
now.
Seahawks fan. Like
This
I
is not
was
your fan of football. This
nope.
is your Seahawks fan thought
Yeah,
now. Okay.
I'm not moved. I'm
Okay.
not moved because again, and we talked about this earlier in the week.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, they're the best team in the NFL. On paper, they got probably the best defensive line in the NFL, either second to the Texans. On paper, they're Super Bowl champions right now on paper.
This is your Seahawks fan thought. Keep going.
They got to go out and do it. Now we've already had the discussion. Again, they still got to line up. And as a Seahawks fan, I don't know why any of my fan base want to be scared about this because at the end of the day, we've seen the Rams have a bunch of talent and they don't get the job done. They've only got it done once. And last year, a lot of folks felt like they was gonna do it, like they was gonna do it again
It was a
until we
fair
stepped
point
up.
at certain points. At certain points throughout the season, that is a perfectly fair thought. To be fair,
And and again, they had a fair point. Yes, they could have won either one. Like either team in that NFC Championship game was going to win the Super Bowl. Bottom line,
yeah,
simply put. But at the end of the day, when are we going to put respect? When are they going to put respect on the fact that they lost
I think they are by trading for Myles Garrett. I think they are
to a
putting
certain
respect on.
to a certain degree? Yes. And like the reason why I'm not moved by this because again, y'all still got to go out there and actually do it. Dog, do you know that we don't play them until like I think the second like twice in the last week in the last few weeks of the NFL season? Do
Oh,
you
they
know how
did
much
that
foot?
to y'all with them. Okay,
Yep. Do you know how much football both teams are gonna have to go through?
yeah, a lot.
Like, Do you know how much you would have to survive within a season to be able to get to a point where both teams can finally match up? They got to take care of their business. We got to take care of our business because like they got to stay healthy. We got to stay healthy because there's
Everybody in the
like
league got to
multiple.
stay healthy.
Everybody in the league got to stay healthy because we already know you are never going to be 100% going into the postseason ever. Never. You're never going to be 100%. There's going to be nicks. There's going to be bruises. There's going to be some season-ending injuries, and we had our share. But you still got to find ways to win. My thing is, as much as Myles Garrett and Trent McDuffie and Justin Watson, all those moves that they've made are going to make the Rams better, possibly on paper, the best team in the NFL. What's to say the other teams in the NFC, including the Seattle Seahawks, are not going to get better after last year as well? We gotta see. So I'm not going again. I'm not gonna crown nobody that ain't got the crown.
I don't know. You do have to say that like this is almost a way of them showing respect to you guys by them going by a win now team making
They're,
another aggressive and an extremely actually it's the most aggressive move that they could make. They got the best player in football. Name me a player. Name me a
I'm
player
not.
playing better at their position than Myles Garrett.
I would, but he's retired right now, and they're trying to beg him, and they're trying to beg his wife to come back.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't. There's no one playing better football at their position than Myles Garrett. So this was the most aggressive win now move that the Rams could have possibly pulled off,
Do you
and they
think?
did.
Do you
And
think
they
AD
took it.
comes back?
and they took it. So in a way, it's kind of showing respect to you guys. Like, hey, you guys were slightly better than us, so we're gonna make a move to where we can get slightly better than you, right?
In a
On
sense,
paper,
they won't say the words, and I want them to say the words, but they won't say the words.
you want them to say, "I respect you."
No.
I do
Well,
respect.
no, okay. In a sense, like there's some more words, but anyway. Um, do you think AD comes back?
I think if he keeps posting those Instagram videos saying just in case with him doing those shoulder shrugs or whatever, just in case with them 100 pound, 150 pound dumbbells. If he keeps doing that all summer, I don't see why not.
I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I'm not gonna say yes and I'm not gonna say no, but I'm not gonna listen to anything like AD says. It's mainly about like what his wife feels because the dude's he's one of them rare dudes that like I'm focused on my family and my family's opinion means the most to me,
Yeah.
and like his family means the most. So like it's kind of like Savannah James to a point
Mm-hmm.
with the James family and LeBron. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be the same thing with the Donald family. It's like Erica Donald is going to get the final say, point blank. And she says no. Sorry, Rams fans.
Yeah, it's not like they got didn't just get to add the best player to in the league to their team or anything. I think they'll be fine without AD personally.
I think they will. Shoot, I wish I had enough time to go ahead and pull up their schedule, but I don't know. It's just like I'm not gonna buy into the whole fear thing. Like, shoot, they unlike it ain't fair that the Rams get Miles. I don't really care. Yeah, they got defensive player of the year and they got the offensive player of the year. No, it's because they got the MVP. We got the offensive player of the year. But at the same time, it's like y'all still got to line up and go do it. My thing is like Miles Garrett in 2025 is not going to be the same Miles Garrett in 2026. He's going to be better. He's going to be worse. Not
It's
going to be the
very,
same.
it's very possible he gets better.
There is a very possibility because like most likely he did what he did while they were losing nine like majority of the season. Now he's going to be able to have a chance to do what he does while winning a lot of those games, putting teams in a situation where they're going to have to throw, and that's basically going to open it up for Miles Garrett. So like football, like I said, really good opportunity. I'm gonna be excited to see it because I'm gonna watch. I'm not gonna like say I'm not gonna watch. I'd be lying if I did. But at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna like lose sleep over it. Like, and I think that's coming like again as a Seahawks fan. It's mainly because like the confidence that I have in both my coach and my GM and the rest of the folks in the culture that we got on like as a team. It's like, dog, we could beat anybody. Don't matter what they add or who they add. So like that's just me.
As a fantasy football champion coming off of this past year that made extremely aggressive trades, that constantly makes aggressive trades. That's why that's another reason why I like the move so much because for my team, for what I do, because I have a win now team myself, I love making trading away
Doesn't
picks for stars, for
doesn't
young
everybody
stars.
doesn't everybody try to win now in fantasy football?
Well, no, it's a dynasty league.
Oh, okay.
So it's a dynasty league. I should have specified that, but it's a dynasty league. So where I
I
can
didn't know
trade
they do
future
that.
pick. Huh?
I didn't know they do that.
Yeah, you can do it on the Sleeper app. I'm endorsing Sleeper now, but gonna need to check. But anyway, yeah, you can do that on Sleeper,
Not
where
before
you can
us.
run a dynasty league. And I've made maybe like 3 years ago, I started making some really aggressive win now moves, and it finally paid off last year. And then like the first draft we had, I was able to get. I had the number one overall pick, so I had Bijan Robinson with that pick, and then like
Boy, did you hit.
like round 13, I hit Trey McBride when he was coming into his rookie year. So those paid off big
Yeah.
last year. And then at some points in the past couple years, I traded a lot to go get Jalen Hurts, traded a lot to go get Amon-Ra St. Brown. Those were both a couple years ago. And this past year, midseason, I traded a first round pick to go and get Derrick Henry. So
Not bad.
yeah, so the team's pretty stacked. But again, by making those trades, it paid off three. A couple of those didn't pay off till a few years later. But I love watching teams who are in clearly in a win now mode, like the Rams are, making aggressive trades to go and win.
All right, let's talk about the NFL's worst kept secret.
No,
AJ Brown going to the Patriots. I'll ask you this: there's we're going to focus on football, and then maybe we'll even touch on some of the rumors that's been circulating down in the Discord about AJ Brown. But all I know is Jalen Hurts is not the reason why he left or wanted to trade. So we
based
know
off
that
those
for
rumors,
yeah,
anyways.
we know that for a fact.
Yeah,
But all in all, the trade went down. Brown is a Patriot. Drake May is coming off of MVP runner-up season and a Super Bowl appearance. So, how much is AJ Brown really going to change the trajectory of the New England Patriots, especially after all the offseason drama that they had to embark through?
I don't know that this moves me that much. If I'm being perfectly honest with you, like just like how you feel about Garrett going to the Rams as a Seahawks fan, that's how kind of I feel about AJ Brown going to the Patriots as a fan of the game of football. Like I'm not sure how much it really moves me. Obviously, he's a star receiver, and he's adding to a room where the top paid guy I think was Romeo Dobbs. So, and they have a really good run game. They had a really good run game last year, especially once they finally got Travion Henderson going. Defense was elite last year. Christian Gonzalez, elite corner. Milton Williams was really good on the defensive line, along with the others. I don't know how much this moves me. Like, unless he goes out, like, because think about it, AJ Brown is coming off of multiple 1,000-yard seasons and a couple trips to the Super Bowl. So, like, is he really going to? He's been in the playoffs every year. He's been an Eagle, right? I'm correct in saying this, correct? So I've just been baffled as to why he's wanted out this whole time.
His last,
Considering
yeah, he's been in the playoffs. He's
he
never missed
hasn't,
the playoffs as an Eagle. I don't think he missed any. I think he made the playoffs his last few years in Tennessee. So let's see.
but yeah, like I think I've seen a quote or two where he was like, "Oh, I'm in like paradise now" or something like that, and I was like, "Dude, you've been to two Super Bowls." I don't know.
And
I'm
one
not,
one.
and won one. I'm not sure. Like, how much are you really increase? Is his play going to get better now that he's with the
I
Patriots?
mean,
Or is that what
look,
I'm supposed to be assuming here?
you, you get Drake May, you get Josh McDaniels, who everybody knows is a horrible head coach, but a tremendous offensive coordinator. Um, think about what the Patriots like. The Patriots go from just Keyshawn Butte and Stephon Diggs to Keyshawn Butte and AJ Brown. And even then, I think there was some rumors about Keyshawn Butte might want to trade, but I don't think that's legitimate or not. But anyway, you're and let's see. So in his career as a Philadelphia Eagle, he finished his career with 339 passes caught, 5,034 yards, and 32 touchdowns as a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. He was there for four seasons total.
Sounds like a lot of success to me.
Yep, and like in one of them seasons, he gets one of them seasons. Yeah, he got a Super Bowl. He got a Super Bowl ring, and that was in 2024. In his first year, he got there. He had 1496 with 11 touchdowns on 88 catches. That was when they went to the first Super Bowl. His second year had 106 catches, 1456, 7 TDs. 2024, he had the year when they won the Super Bowl. He only played 13 games. He had 67 receptions, 1079, and 7 touchdowns. And last year, and I think what year did he start reading the book? Was it
The
this
year
year?
they won the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah, we already read those stats. And then last year was by his standards was a down year. 15 played 15 games, 78 receptions, 1,003 yards, and 7 TDs. Like he's gone all his time, all his tenure as an Eagle. He's never gone below 1,000 yards.
And there's an All Pro in there, and
Oh
there's
yeah,
two trips to the Super Bowl in there.
yep. And he scored a touchdown in all those Super Bowls.
I don't know what he wants.
Uh, he, dog. Well, here's the thing. One, he will not settle for mediocre. I respect that about AJ Brown. He does
Okay,
not settle for mediocre.
that's
Like he
fine.
wants to
That's
be
perfectly fine.
successful. He wants to be able to produce both for him personally and as a team. Because there was a point, and nobody can deny this. There was a point where the whole offensive coordinator situation with the Philadelphia Eagles, both whether that would be with Nick Sirianni, or just or whoever was at the offensive coordinator position at the time, it just was not working, and it was coming like mediocre.
Yeah, that's
And
fair. That's a fair complaint. That's a fair complaint.
and then like again, we don't know their personal life, so I'm guessing both him and Jalen Hurts. I don't think they ever went at it. Some people can speculate, but I don't think they ever went at it to the point of disrespect. Now, albeit if anybody wants to takes to heart like the fact that Jalen Hurts or wasn't invited to the wedding or vice versa, I can't remember. I'm not going to draw too many conclusions on that because both of them have said at length that they're okay.
Yeah,
They just drifted apart, and that happens in life. But I think with it's no big secret. Jalen Hurts is not the greatest passer in the world, but he is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and AJ understands that. They won a title, understanding that. But I think, and this again, this is no knock. AJ wants a chance to be able to be involved more, and with Philly, that's a run heavy style offense. So I think both sides kind of got what they want, which is also the reason why the Eagles drafted
Mekhi Lemon.
yeah, Makai Lemon. So I think it was a win-win on both sides. I mean, if you're Philly, you hate to see it end, but I think you're more appreciative as far as like the fact that it happened.
Yeah. Now you asked me this. I think the answer is yes. Personally, I think the answer will be yes. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you again. Do you think the Eagles' offense takes a jump this year with AJ gone?
Slight jump, yes. I think because you're not gonna, unlike the only thing that's gonna go through in the locker room as far as the noise is Jalen Hurts gonna be better or worse without AJ Brown? And y'all gotta remember, and you know this as well as I do. There's a cat from I'm gonna try to say this. I'm gonna try to say this town right. Meet Louisiana, who is a former Heisman Trophy winner, who is the greatest wide receiver in the history of college football, and who has been one of the best 1B wide receivers in the NFL, who is mentally capable of handling the workload, and he's done it before. He had 1,000 yards with his rookie year, I believe. Devontae Smith can handle being and having that spotlight and being that guy. He already got chemistry with Jalen Hurts off the rip. Now, add Makai Lemon, you still got Dallas Goddard. I think you still have Jahan Dotson. Like you look at the weapons that like the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me look at it.
Dontavian Wicks, I believe they added, if I'm correct. When did the Vikings get a new general manager? Sorry, I'm just seeing that on the
A
scroll.
while back.
Okay,
A while back.
I must have missed that news.
Okay, look, the Eagles are going to have Smitty. They're going to have Dontavian Wicks, Makai Lemon. They get just picked like they picked up Hollywood Brown not too long ago, and they got Elijah Moore. Running backs, you're going to have Saquon, Will Shipley, Damian Pierce, and Tank Bixby. And tight ends, you have Dallas Goddard, and you drafted Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt. Offensively, I think they're going to be fine. The question mark is more so on Sean Mannion, the first year offense coordinator. Sean Mannion, the offense coordinator, and then Jalen Hurts. I mean, obviously, yeah, the players got to go out and play. We understand that, but at the same time, like you're Jalen Hurts, dog, you're gonna take what the defense give you. I think the Eagles are going to be fine. I think if they take a drop, it's going to be a slight drop off, statistic wise. But production and winning, they're going to be fine.
Yeah. I'm just interested to see how much of a jump there, or if they, because the biggest complaint among the Eagles and the Eagles fans is Saquon out the middle, Saquon out the middle, AJ Brown
Yep.
deep ball. That's what the joke was
Yeah,
all year.
dog. It was so predictable. It was just so predictable.
So the biggest question has to be on. It's unfairly going to be on Hurts, but the biggest question has to be on Sean Mannion and how much does he mix up the offense.
Yep. Like folks are gonna look at Jalen Hurts and stuff, but like you really got to look at the bigger picture, and the bigger picture is coaching. Because if Sean Mannion doesn't work, then like folks got to start looking at Nick Sirianni. Because again, he's supposed to be he's supposed to be an offensive coach. Dog, you ain't doing your job.
Nope.
Let's keep that a bug. Um, but yeah, like that pretty much covers it. I do want to get your thoughts. Y'all like your Falcons, they re-signed Drake London to a 4-year deal. What was your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I saw somewhere that he's now the third highest paid wide receiver in the league.
Yep.
Um, I've loved having London on the team. Looks like he's going to be around for a while. What that means for the rest of the young core, I think they will get a Bijan contract done. I would have thought that would have been done first, to be honest with you. I didn't, but well, Drake got drafted first, so that makes sense. They went ahead and got his done
Yeah,
before
because I think
Bijan.
you still got another year on Bijan's contract. You know how like a lot of these GMs and owners are not quick to go ahead and give
Yeah,
Joker's money like that. So
yeah, it makes more sense to get a good. I don't want to say this is bad work by GMs if you're not going ahead and getting it done, but it looks like good GMs get the contracts done as fast as possible, so you don't have
John
to.
Schneider, let's see, John Schneider, Sam Presti, NBA. I know it's NBA, but still, Howie Roseman. Um, I agree. You're right about that.
So it would have made sense to get Bijan's contract go ahead and done, especially since the Dolphins are paying A Chain. This is like a 4 year. It was something
It
that
was something.
shocked me,
Yeah.
and now we got to pay more than what the Dolphins are paying A Chain.
Yep. But anyway,
Because respectfully, Bijan's better. Respectfully,
yeah. All right, dog. Look, appreciate you for joining in. That's pretty much gonna do it for the show. Obviously, again, please follow our social media on X at TDSN Pod, TikTok like TDSN underscore Pod, and follow our YouTube channel as well. We stream on both YouTube and Facebook. So again, we want to appreciate Jason for being here. Jason Williams again for being here and like filling in for Garrett. Garrett, we'll see you next episode. Y'all have a good night. Peace.
see you.